Y'all want to go to Africa? I'm standing up and I'm telling you, I am Warhol. I am the number one most impactful artist of our generation. I am Shakespeare in the flesh, Walt Disney.
Yeah. Schedule for them 10 rounds, ring the bell. When we got them Bible bricks, bring the scale. With Robert Glory on me, can you tell? Pour my foot up on the gas, take a L. Schedule for them 10 rounds, ring the bell. When we got them Bible bricks, bring the scale. With Robert Glory on me, can you tell? Pour my foot up on the gas, take a L.
Check, flow so dirty, I think I need some detergent. They saying, look at me now, mama, your boy been converted, mama. They call me the man now. My haters, my fans now. I sharpen my sword and watch me chop up my sin now. Black and white, the truth ain't what you ready for. I die without the blood, that's the truth, and I'm so medical. Gotta keep one eye on my haters so I can vet it. Why? My cup running over with the grace, homie. Where the mob? The night of Pentecost, I was 12 when he fell on. It took a couple of years to get tired of taking nails, homie. You say the black of the berry, I say the fruit be the fruit. You say you talk what you live and then let the truth be the truth. Never forget through the silence that he be speaking through you. You waiting for God when he be waiting for you. They try to cut me, y'all. Boy, I'm better off. Had a feeling how you felt, cause had to pay the cost, pay the
for them 10 rounds, ring the bell. When we got them Bible bricks, bring the scale. With Robert Glory on me, can you tell? Pour my foot up on the gas, take a L. Schedule for them 10 rounds, ring the bell. When we got them Bible bricks, bring the scale. With Robert Glory on me, can you tell? Pour my foot up on the gas, take a L.
Who likes to party? Head up my class, summa cum laude. The change up for the dollar, they don't even want the change back. One for the stars to be a captain like their name spot. Planted by the river, bearing fruit just like a mango. While they sinking in their sin, boy, you think they on the bad boat. Killing yourself, that's murder she wrote. Ain't looking for a like on the gram, I got the kilo. Hey, D kid, what you drank? Boy, I'm going off the truth. Tell my homie what I need and watch him bring back too. Hey bruh, I ain't worried if you don't like me, cause I'm married and got a queen, that's the reason you don't like me. Lying saying you a big fan, I post a song and you don't like it. We was on the same team, but you was only for the profit. You was always down the ride until the boy turned to a prophet. I hope you kill yourself and start a new life with the prophet.
Schedule for the 10 rounds, ring the bell. When we got them Bible bricks, bring the scale. With Robert Glory on me, can you tell? Pour my foot up on the gas, take a L. Schedule for them 10 rounds, ring the bell. When we got them Bible bricks, bring the scale. With Robert Glory on me, can you tell? Pour my foot up on the gas, take a L.
Good afternoon and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Hawk&bel Podcast via YouTube. It's a 30 Parkwood Productions. We thank you for listening to us. If you have not already, subscribe to the channel. Go to YouTube, type in the search bar 30 Parkwood, or type in Hawk&bel Podcast, and you will see all of our glorious works and podcasts and information about politics, life, and things thereof. We want to say thank you to all of our constant repeat they're not fans and not followers. These are people that we actually have a relationship with. So what do we call them? Our supporters. I reported a special shout out to Tiff and Dawn. They're the most vocal. Shout out to Carol from the church, Carol Jenkins. And see, that's the problem. We start calling out people's names because I'm drawing blanks right now. Like, man, who else we showing love? Well, we'll get you next time. Reggie Reg, thank you for the voiceovers. Sible, young lady I met in grad school. Shout out to Regina. Oh yeah, Regina from Pasadena for Simone B Catering. And hopefully we'll have some sponsors coming up within the next week or the following week. Anyway, off of that. So I wanted to go back to the friendship. And I know I'm going a little bit out of order, but we only 5-6 minutes on this one. When last week you introduced the concept of me stopping your best friend who was a male, and we kind of talked about that for a little bit. And so,
Lord, are we still harping on?
Well, I've been thinking about this the whole week because I was
that trigger something, sir.
Yeah, you trigger thought. And I want to go back and say, because I was adamant about the same-sex friends. If you're married, you shouldn't have, blah blah blah. I still stand on that, but in terms of like friendships, I think there are clauses or there are ways that a married person can have friends that are opposite sex really, really easy. And it's just, I was just thinking like everyday life, when you was in school, you had men that you talked to, men that you text and whatnot. They were in your class, and you was building.
I was in a class of all men. I was the only female.
Yeah. So you was building relationships with these people. So I was like, you know what? It's only natural. At your job, you build relationships with people. At church, you build relationships. I think the only caveat with that is that the people that you're building with, they have to, you know what I mean? They may not be my friend, but there has to be an introduction, this, that, and the third. And, it is what it is. At least for me, you know what I mean? I would feel comfortable. I would be very uncomfortable if you're having conversations and talking to people that I've never heard of. And then all of a sudden somebody call you and I'm hearing this male in the voice like, who's that? Oh, that's Paul. Paul? Who's Paul? You never talked about Paul. That would bother me. You know what I mean? So, and I say that because I was like, every time that I meet a female and there's a relationship that's building there, I always come back, hey, Belle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
To do with just how secure you are within your own relationship, and making sure that you and your spouse have that connection where you can be independent in your everyday living but still come back to each other together. Like, I don't need you to go to school and be there holding my hand as I walk from class to class,
right,
or interacting with these people,
right,
and then come back to you,
that's true. I'll backpedal just a little bit. I think it'd be a cool courtesy. And like I said, if it's somebody that you're actually, I'm not talking about every man that you talk to, but somebody that you're actually building with. For example, I don't remember the brother's name, the Jamaican homie that ended up, him and his wife went to Germany together. That was Lloyd. So you came back and you talked about, so I'm familiar with this guy. He ended up inviting us to a barbecue. So I'm familiar who this guy is. He's not my friend. That's somebody who you met and who you was building with. I don't know if I don't know, he might be your friend now, but that was somebody who, obviously y'all had more than one conversation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely.
You was cool with. So that's why I said, like, just out of courtesy, I know who I'm speaking with, blah, blah, blah. And the same thing with me. Professor Barry, Sadidra, Lisa, all these people are people who I ran into either through school or radio and things of that nature. So if I'm interacting with them daily, I'm gonna come home and talk with them so that you are familiar with all these different people. Now, in some of the positions that I was in, you weren't able to retain the names of, because I was in charge of the radio station at one point and there was a gang of people.
Yeah, and that's like with me when I was with the steel company. I was surrounded by nothing but men. I'm not going to come back and try to explain to you who everybody is necessarily.
That's ridiculous.
Because it's just the whole entire company is mostly males.
Yeah. So to your point, there does have to be a level of just be secure and trust your wife. I do, as a subject, I do want to tackle this maybe in 2 or 3 episodes about the rights to privacy. And what does that mean in a marriage? I think that would be a pretty good discussion. What you think?
Yeah, I think it would be a decent discussion.
Sure. So we'll discuss that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we just, we got some things to talk about. Today, we're going to discuss, in our first segment, a couple of current events. If you haven't heard about Sean Spicer and what he said about the Jews during one of his daily briefings, chemical gas and Assad and the comparisons to Hitler. We're also going to talk about United Airlines and the dragging of one of their passengers. And lastly, we're going to talk about Pepsi as well, with Pepsi in terms of the ads, or the ad with Kendall Jenner, and what that meant to them and how can they be so insensitive. I saw the commercial for the first time today. Actually, I just heard the commentary and read the reports, but today I actually sat and watched from a artistic standpoint what they were trying to communicate. So we're gonna talk about it. I'm glad you all staying with us thus far. We love you, appreciate you. We're gonna take this break. You can listen to some tunes, and we'll be right back. Hawk&bel Podcast, YouTube, 30 Parkwood. We'll be back.
Don't click that mouse. We'll be right back.
Look at me, I'm all the way turned up. I ain't smoking, but my homie in here burnt up. Yeah, I'm working on him, but he straight though. Couple girls tryna twerk it on me, wait, no. Hold up. Before you even roll up, I'm in here with my lady, can't you see me, man, I'm sold up. Man, I'm in here tryna celebrate a birthday. And you know I'm good or well, it's a work day. No matter, we still gon' kick it, and we ain't getting trippy. No Molly in my sippy, ain't fighting nobody, ain't nobody said tripping. And Southeast Dago in the building, shout out to Peter Pan, Skyline Imperial, we out here tryna function. Holla if you with it though, probably think I'm rolling, I'm just high on the spirit, bro. The only thing we poppin' is the truth, you don't hear me though. They probably think I'm rolling, I ain't on nothing. They probably think I'm rolling, I ain't on nothing. They probably think I'm rolling, I ain't on nothing. But what I got you need to know about is on me, I'm turned. I'm turned, 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 I'm turned. Everybody slow motion, leaning off the potion. I tell them I'm straight, trying to keep my mind focused. Came 40 deep, clicked up, crew love. Got them looking at us crazy cause we so turned up. Yeah, homie, I'm turned, I'm turned, I'm turned, I'm turned. I ain't poppin', rolling, and I ain't burnt. So tell Mary and Molly, I don't need them to party. Someone woke up in the lobby trying to locate their wallet, while I'm 9 holes in trying to work on my hobby. And I wish somebody would get me started. Hey, deuces up to Nipsey, K-Dot and Gang. I'm out here in the West, don't holla at me, man. My bloodstream clean, nothing running through my veins. It's 116, yeah, I'm still unashamed. I call it network if I'm out here fishing. You know I'm with the clicking, man, we out here trying to kick it. You know that we turn. They probably think I'm rolling, I ain't on nothing. They probably think I'm rolling, I ain't on nothing. They probably think I'm rolling, I ain't on nothing. But what I got you need to know about is on me, I'm turned. I'm turned, 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 I'm turned.
And I want to say this to the television audience. I made my mistakes, but in all of my years of public life, I have never profited from public service. I've earned every cent. And in all of my years of public life, I have never obstructed justice. And I think, too, that I can say that in my years of public life, that I welcome this kind of examination, because people have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. You're listening to the Hawk&bel Podcast on YouTube via 30 Parkwood Productions. We do it for the love. I am Hawk, and to my right we have
Bell
in the building, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to just talk about, I know for the past week you are probably tired of listening and getting a breakdown of every element of the elements. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to talk about the second segment. As I was thinking about these current events, the second segment we're going to talk about transgenderism and species dysphoria. that's the off-brand name of people who want to be animals. The clinical name starts with an L. I got it pulled up. We'll do that when we get to the segment. But in this particular segment, we're going to talk about current events. Let's start off with Pepsi. And what is it that Kendall Jenner tried to, or the directors, or what the company Pepsi was trying to communicate? Did you actually watch the ad?
I saw the picture, but not the actual ad. No, they have pulled it by that time.
It's still on YouTube.
Well, when I saw it, I just read an article and saw a picture, but it was saying that it had been pulled.
Hold on. Do you want to see it real quick?
That's fine.
So yeah.
What were they trying to say though? Pepsi solves it all, or she's the heroine of the world?
I hate to say it. Of course, it would be, because Professor Barry taught me when it comes to cinema, nothing is ever done accidentally.
Yeah.
Everything.
Done accidentally.
The color, the placement, everything is done on purpose. So, Of course, Kendall Jenner is a brand in herself attached to the Kardashian brand, but it just had to be a white woman with a Pepsi going up to a police officer, smiling, and we got goofy black dude in the background crunking. You didn't see that? He was.
Well, I mean, as a police officer looking at all those protesters doing what they were doing, I couldn't take them seriously anyway.
Folks got guitars and doing
moves and
so Pepsi
winking at girls and stuff.
And so I think what Pepsi was trying to capture the mood of the climate of the country today, but I think they missed grossly.
Totally.
And they did. It's like they definitely downplayed the struggles.
There was no fear there.
None.
There was no impoverishment. There was no frustration. No tears.
Everybody was having a good time. It was more like everybody had they had picket signs and it was walking in a straight line, but it felt more like it was a party.
Yeah, basically. This is what should have been on everybody's signs.
They'll put up a question mark. So everybody just put up question marks like, I don't know why I'm here.
Our future is questionable.
Yeah. So, like they said, whoever was the marketing director, whoever approved this project and said, yeah, this was a good idea, they missed it. And this isn't the first time that ad agencies have been provocative and used or tried to use current lingo or current to try to capture the current climate of what's going on. Yeah, and to promote their product. And I think that's the part that's problematic because...
Or even reach to the past. Like, what's her name? Beyonce? Going back and doing the Panther stuff.
That was... So, good point. Did I watch that video?
No, that was live on the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I seen that. Professor Berry played that
but she had another video that she had done promoting. I think it was Pepsi that she did a video for.
Well, we don't have cable, so I missed both of them. But what artistically, because you named a brand. Beyonce's a brand. I know she's a person, but she also has a brand. What she did, she had a song. I don't know if it was called Hot Sauce or whatnot. People, Lord have mercy. Those who are Beyonce fans, don't get mad at me or Belle. I don't listen to Beyonce. I don't know her music. I just know what I've been showed. Again, shout out to one of my professors who was trying to educate me in terms of what Beyonce was representing in this particular case. I just remember Hot Sauce in the Bag. That was one of the lines. But the imagery behind what Beyonce was representing, the empowerment of black women and standing up for yourself and things of that nature. And she did it in a way that she didn't minimize the struggles of those that are around her, because she doesn't have to involve herself because she's uber rich. She doesn't have to articulate.
It's definitely never her struggle.
You know what I mean? But she chose to take on that and do it accurately. And she's very authentic about it, because between her and her husband, I have been following her husband in terms of the donations that he's been giving to Black Lives Matter, towards underprivileged schools. Recently, he's financed 2 films that articulated with Khalif Browder and the mistreatment. I think that one was based in Rikers Island. He got killed. He also helped Baltimore movement and the protesters out there. So they're out there, and I don't mind them using their brand to incorporate the climate, because again, they're authentic about what they're doing. Where we got Kendall Jenner, who's you're specifically selling yourself and selling Pepsi while everybody's dancing and laughing in the streets. I have a friend that again, Tiffany Bay Holloway. When she was in Charlotte, she's still in Charlotte, but she participated in those protests out there, and she posted pictures. She was bruised up. I think, did I show those pictures?
I thought she was just sitting down on the thing.
That was one picture, but another picture, she got hit in the face with some mace. I think one of the canisters hit her on the shoulder, so she was bruised up. But these are the type of things that people are going through for the specific purpose of trying to get the attention of the government. And Robert Pittenger.
Well, protesting is never nice. I mean, my cousins had protested in Puerto Rico, and yeah, there were some legal situations that my uncle had to represent them for in the court of law, because they were basically beat up and dragged and stuff, and it was a peaceful protest. So I think protest and it's never pretty.
Right.
There's always a side of it that's very tense, and I think it was a very gross misrepresentation of where America is today and how significant the things that we are protesting against are. Definitely misrepresented.
So would you protest the United Airlines for dragging folks off the airplane? And ladies, we're not gonna recap the whole story. Long story short, they overbooked the flight. They needed some of their own people to get from here to there. They said that they randomly picked this dude.
Yeah, they randomly announced 4 different people
and
that were to get off the flight, and he was the only one who refused.
The homeboy was like, did you see that video?
I did see the video. It was pretty. Ugh.
The one when he got drugged out. But before that, he actually was off the plane, and then he ran back on the plane.
No, I didn't see that.
He said, I gotta go home.
Oh, because they probably didn't tell him what it was for. They was probably just calling those certain passengers to board off the plane, and then probably when he got to the counter and they told him what it was for.
He said, I'm not having it. And he ran back to his seat. And of course, they handled it the way that they handled. Let's start with the overbooking part. Do you know why the flights overbook?
To guarantee their money?
Yes. Yeah. So I was sitting here on social media and all these other places where it's like, we need to change that, stop overbooking flights. But they do that because they do allow you, if you miss your flight, to jump on another flight to get to where you're going for free. So I think they anticipate if you miss your flight, we're anticipating guaranteed that every flight that goes out, 1 or 2 people are not going to make it.
Sorry to cut you off right there, but my thing is, I get that if you have these random flights that come in and out, because flights are on a schedule.
Right.
They are standard leaving airports, and you know the capacity of each one of those. And if a flight is leaving out of Fayetteville and it's the last flight, and let's say it's going to DC, you know on average how many people are on that flight.
Right.
Every single time. So let's say always it's no more than 50% full of that flight. Well then, yeah, I can see you justifying overbooking a flight as such. But if you're doing a flight, let's say from JFK to Puerto Rico, San Juan, which is there are like never any seats available on a flight as such, why would you overbook that? Because it doesn't matter. There's always people on standby. Those high demand flights like that, you should, as a business sense, you should never overbook such flights like that.
I think because maybe it's just never been an issue.
But see, that was the thing. It wasn't overbooked. It's that they were making room for 4 of their employees. Now, they didn't say why these 4 employees needed to fly that particular flight or why it was so urgent.
True.
Were they going as a crew to go set up and take care of some other flight or situation that occurred within their company, or was this a leisure travel? I
think I read that it was because as a crew they had to get to another destination.
Yeah, but another destination could be that they were going to sleep in the satellite area or whatever that they have in their little hub where they keep them on deck. Because they need to have X, Y, Z amount of people on deck, and you can't be within no more than an hour, I think, away from the plane.
Right.
Not the plane, but the airport.
Right.
Because they need you on deck at a moment's notice.
Well, so.
But I mean, they need to. Regardless, what they did was just really ugly.
So going back to the reason why they overbook. If they're anticipating you to miss your flight. When you miss your flight, they have that seat paid for, and they have the seat that you're going to board. So it's kind of like a circle. So you miss that flight, jump on another flight. Well, that flight is going to have some seats. So you occupy that space, and they're still paying, and they still have the other seats covered. Now, I think a very reasonable solution would have been if the guy refused to get out of his seat, and I've heard Delta, I've heard somebody say that Delta does this, where they start bidding their tickets, and that's how that one reporter got $11,000, because they just keep going up and they keep selling the tickets.
Yeah, and we've been in positions like that where they have asked, hey, okay, we need 5 seats, and then okay, now we need 2 seats. Oh, okay, now we need 1 seat. Where that happens. And yeah, what was the problem that they couldn't do something like that? He obviously valued what he did for a living, which be a doctor,
right?
You know, and he had some patients he needed to get taken care of. I don't know if that was really the motivation or not, but the man didn't want to come off the flight, and he is a paying customer. Yeah, and he paid for his seat.
So again, going back to Delta, they said that they keep bidding their tickets, or bidding. They give you so much money. So let's say you got up at $500, and the next person got up at $4,000. Well, then, because that person got up at $4,000, everybody who got up before him will get $4,000. So it's not like,
I need that offer.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I think that's smart. That's customer service. It just makes sense. You might think it's expensive up front, but in the long run,
avoid situations like this.
You know what I mean? It's like
lawsuit. And he got 2 high-profile, I guess, lawyers or whatever too.
And he needs, quote unquote, reconstructive surgery. Get your money, dude. He is about to get paid. And so the question that I asked Belle, and she hasn't told me her answer yet. Well, actually, before I answer, the question is, before we get to the question, so people have been fake outraging. They're going to boycott United Airlines and things of that nature, which I hear you emotionally, but the reality is, by tomorrow, all this is going to blow away, and people right now,
folks are probably going on the site right now to see how cheap those tickets are, so they can catch a flight this weekend for Easter.
I was just going to say that. Yep. I ain't gonna lie, I was looking to like, man, so if they lost $1 billion now, since then the stock has went back up, but when they had that first drop, I'm like, how come these prices ain't dropped yet? And the reason why they hadn't dropped is because they just had to weather the storm. That initial PR is not a good look for them, but yeah, the prices haven't went down yet, and I'm looking like
I mean, look, year after year, I mean, I've been flying, I think like every year of my life I've flown somewhere. And I remember when we had full meals. I remember when we did, the overseas where they come and they bring you the towels and the service, and then they give you the wings. And I mean, there was just so much. And then one year, you got peanuts.
So did that make you stop using the airline because of that?
And one drink. And it's like, okay, what just happened? Then no peanuts. No. People could be allergic. Lord forbid. People are allergic. What about pretzels and salt? Can someone be allergic to pretzels and salt? Because then they started offering pretzels and salt.
Of all the things that Belle could be outraged about, she's bringing up the food.
Because when you're on a long flight, or when you are traveling an entire day, sometimes when you're catching a hop from one place to another, you don't necessarily have time to wait in this massive line to get something.
Right.
It's not that there aren't places available on the way, but you just might not be in a position where you have time, because you have to catch that connection and get to where you need to be. So yeah, it is definitely appreciated. Okay, thank you, airlines, for making sure that we stay hydrated. But, a little something sometimes is cool. And then you didn't have to pay for that. That was all included. Now you do have to pay.
Yeah. So, Pepsi, you're so unaware of your surroundings. United Airlines, and then before I actually go into the question, United Airlines yesterday, as of the recording of this podcast, had a passenger get stung with by a scorpion on their flight. So it's just all bad. Yeah. I didn't read the story. I just saw the headline. I was like, it's just all bad for that airline right now. They going through it.
It is their season.
It is their season. Hallelujah.
Trump and United.
So people are talking about protesting Pepsi. They're talking about protesting United Airlines, and I'm really trying to figure out, how do you protest Pepsi, because Pepsi got their hands in everything.
Boycott.
Yeah, well, how do you? That's what I said. Protesting. That's what I meant. How do you boycott Pepsi that owns Aquafina, KFC's, a whole list of just other companies that's under Pepsi?
I mean,
umbrella?
Nowadays it would definitely have to be a movement of protest.
Okay.
It couldn't just be one section or another section of people doing it, because if there's not a united front on certain levels, then no, it's not going to be so significant. Like you said, they just have to weather the storm, and then the stocks will go right back up.
Okay, well, here's the question. What product do you use? This is the question. I want you to answer. Don't answer yet. So the question is, what product do you use that no matter what happens with the company, you will still continue to support? And of course, the idea that I had when that question came up was, musically, there are artists that people still listen to, Michael Jackson, who has been accused of molesting kids, doing weird stuff, and yet they still bump his records and still call him the greatest of all time. We can think of a numerous other artists that have been in the same boat. Some people still rock with Bill Cosby with his allegations. Some people still rock with Chick-fil-A because the CEO and what he said about gay marriage and things of that nature. So on Facebook, and ladies and gentlemen, that's a long story in terms of what happened, but I've asked that question to my California and North Carolina friends, and Facebook flagged my post. Somebody, I guess, had a problem with the question, so I don't have it in front of me, but in general, one person, shout out to James Stevens.
What was the question? The
question is, what product do you use that no matter what happens with the company, you will continue to use? James, that's Tiffany's husband, he said water and electricity. He said no matter what happens with the electric company, I still need that. I'm still use it. So
I was thinking of more of an item, not necessarily a
hold on.
Living means.
Kim, shout out to Kim Yvonne. She said that it would be her iPhone. So did D Jackson. Mark Hendrickson, somebody I served the Marine Corps with, he said Bluebell ice cream.
Even with that listeria.
Right. Feel me? Yep.
Oh, man.
And he specifically said vanilla flavor. He made it very specific. Uncle Steve, shout out to Steve Basse. He said, he made that very specific. He said Vienna sausage hot dogs.
Vienna sausage hot dogs?
It's the type of hot dogs that's known for Chicago dogs.
Oh, okay.
So that whatever that brand is, he said, he just can't do without it. No matter what happens with the company, that he can't do without that. So, I
wasn't thinking along those lines, but
what's your answer?
Like I said, I wasn't thinking along those lines, and I didn't give it too much thought. But I was like, Vicks, of course.
Vicks?
Vicks Vapor Rub.
So no matter what happens with the company, the CEO.
With the Vicks Vapor Rub company, I would still use that product.
Why is Vicks so important?
Because you could use.
I've never seen you with a thing of Vicks ever, unless somebody gets sick.
No, but you could use it in many different situations, for healing, for softening, for respiratory situations,
right?
For sunburns. I mean, there's just different. I was thinking more along the medical lines. That's why I said I wasn't thinking as some folks, like personally, but just along medical lines. Like, that's an item that I would want to keep around no matter what.
Well, to your point, and I meant to tell you about this. So,
with James, I'm with you about that water.
Martin Scarelli, I think his name is, the guy that charged was double or triple the price of EpiPens.
Yeah, they were like $307.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty outrageous, because when you go up there, and after insurance, you're still responsible for a certain amount. Is crazy. I mean, thank God, like I know at my pharmacy, one of the ladies, shout out to Taylor, awesome customer service. She always will look something up as far as having maybe a discount code or some kind of coupon where I can get maybe even a one-time free, and that's what she did for me. Right. I don't got $3 after insurance to fork out for 2 EpiPens, because they come in a pack. You can't just get one. Right. You have to get the actual pack. And I have to have that.
Yeah, and so he's notorious. You're not on the internet like that, but Martin Scarelli is notorious for being a troll, just an all-around jerk to people. I saw an interview he did with the Breakfast Club, and he just seems like he just has no compassion. But you still need that EpiPen, and people who have allergies still need that EpiPen, no matter if he's the owner of that or not.
And the thing is that that's not a luxury for people that need it.
Right.
It's a situation of life or death in certain instances. If I sit here and I have an anaphylactic reaction and I don't have that, I need to get somewhere quick, and who knows if I'm even in a position to get somewhere quick. And that's happened to me before, where I just couldn't breathe.
They had a recall on EpiPens recently.
I don't know about the recall.
Yeah, I'm talking about like as of last week, and I forgot to tell you about that.
I haven't gotten any recent purchases of any EpiPens. I have mine right now, I think, till 2018, the last batch I got. Sure.
All right. Well, what product would I just could not do without? There's no product.
I used to say that 2007 Amabel.
Yeah, what that mouse do? Yeah, no matter what happens with that, company, I need that product. No, I guess there is my iPhone, because the iPhone is to me a great product when it doesn't have to do 1,000 updates, and I do so much with my phone. No matter what anybody says in that company, I'll still be using the product, which sucks. There was my activism, my socialism, and my stay woke moment. I'll say something online, I'll do my little rant, and then I'll go right back to texting you. Hey, boo. All right. Well, we're going to bring this segment to the close. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss a news story that broadens or we're going to talk about it from a spiritual as well as a psychological standpoint. Transgender versus what I say was called species dysphoria or gender disorder versus. Anyway, we're going to talk about it. We'll be right back. Hawk&bel Podcast on YouTube, 30 Parkwood.
Don't click that mouse. We'll be right back.
Hey, my life, I struggle through and through the sorrow. If you don't feel me, I dare you to follow. In this life, stand firm, you will not die tonight. I won't die tonight, I won't die tonight, I won't die tonight.
I woke up early and saw the sunrise. Many didn't get to because some died. It hit me how fragile life is, holding with a tight fist. Gotta break out of this crisis. My life has been TypeScript. Ain't nobody praising me. Used to do it by force, now we walk into slavery. Willingly is killing me. I wanna see Caesar. First I gotta go and pay off my visas.
Gotta be a way out of this 9 to 5. I either lose my job or lose my mind. Catch me on the freeway, exit holding a sign like I will rap for food or beatbox for a dime. Now that I'm in my prime, all I need is some shine. So broke, I plum lotion just to grease my behind. Thought of snatching a watch just to look at the time, but there's a reason for these seasons and these mountains I climb.
Why they all feel like Everest, I'm trying to find where heaven is. Thinking I can make it if I change up my regiments, become more disciplined, but I'm not listening. This again, hard work, I don't want an instant win.
While they tongue twisting on my fist for men, I am not in sync. I was born against the wind. Maybe that's why I blow degrees over school's not interested. Gotta master something, it affects the way I'm living.
My life, I struggle through and through the sorrow. If you don't feel me, I dare you to follow. In this life, stand firm, you will not die tonight. I won't die tonight, I won't die tonight, I won't die tonight.
Living paycheck to paycheck, show to show. Trying to figure out what is my future hope. How could I pay for health insurance when more debt occur and I'm paying it back before I even earn
I use
it?
discernment, cause the bridge I never wanna burn it. You're welcome for the service, I feel you deserved it. The truth never swerved it, short of slightly curved it. When it comes to proclaiming, why do I get nervous?
Stage fright from the stage lights, in a rage might lose it in my sleep before I could see the daylight. No longer sleeping in, no question if they made right. They misuse their talents like a team lean with some KY jelly on their belly, dropping calls on their celly while I get more bars, cause I'm HD to LE, prospering and progressing. But sometimes I forget to learn my lesson, which leaves me stressing.
Get stuck, feel like I wanna give up or spit up,
but then I'm pushed by the crew.
I know you like some hiccups. Ladies say, baby, look up. Father say, son, get up. Now I know who I can trust if I'm ever discussed. I hear discussions in foreign languages, probably Russian.
Believe, pump your brakes, you're moving past Russian.
I pay them no attention, I'm always busting these rhymes to these beats. You can hear my neighbors cussing. Turn that ish down.
My life, I struggle through and through the sorrow. If you don't feel me, I dare you to follow this life. Stand from you, we'll not die tonight. I won't die tonight, I won't die tonight, I won't die
What if I told you I ain't got dental or medical, and then I showed you none of this is hypothetical? Daily I'm defeated, I really need to let it go. It's tough, most you paid rappers far from incredible. I speak truth, though my rap is the lifeline. What they make it get, I ain't seen in my lifetime. There I go again, material wealth, and I forget my life is a miracle itself. Blue face, no breath, seizure was attacking me. Then Mars beat my chest and breathed life right back in me. I'm here by the grace of Alpha Trion. Ain't ready for the box, won't even drive a Scion. I rock on, so when life knocks me down, two choices: fall back or get big and stand my ground. I won't die tonight, no sir, I will not die tonight. Push on.
My life, I struggle through and through the sorrow. If you don't feel me, I dare you to follow this life. Stand from you, we'll not die tonight. I won't die tonight, I won't die tonight, I won't die tonight. I won't die tonight. Yeah. Oh, hey, hey.
Listen, it's almost like I'm running out of time. Running after time by days and chasing one another. They bootlegs, cop Nike shoes and started running after each other. They are sporadic, they need structure. My tomorrows are catching up with my yesterdays, and my yesterdays are reaching for the day after that. The day after that doesn't do much. He sits there, two middle fingers up. He spits toward the moon, thinking that he can't be touched until 2 days ago bumps into him. I laugh at all of them. Slight smirk, I run west toward the coast, trying to escape the sunset, setting sail towards the sun. Overseas of prestige and MCs chasing dreams I can only blame one. On jet skis I see my vacation, I was chasing my weekly work schedule with the gun. On land my sick time is being hung by a mob of creativity and one exiled drum. I spend my days counting bars in empty cities, looking up women's lips taste like Henny. I am poisoned and drunk off their redundance. I need substance. I am chemically imbalanced. I need praise. I need God. My days are chasing days.
Welcome back to the Hawk&bel Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. You're listening to the Hawk&bel Podcast, 30 Parkwood Productions on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Go to the YouTube channel by going in the search bar on YouTube and typing in 30 Parkwood. That's 30 Parkwood, or type in Hawk&bel Podcast, and you will see all of our information. The more subscribers that we get, the more we know that what we're doing is relevant to your lives. Otherwise, we're just shooting in the dark because we do it for the love. Let's talk about this transgender news thing. Transgender 2 species disorder or dysphoria. Man, I don't know. All these terminologies. So this was a story about a young man, and I actually should have pulled up his name. His name is... He was born Richard Hernandez of Maricopa County, Arizona, 55 years old. And I'm showing Belle a picture of him before. Did you see this picture?
I did.
He looks like, for all intents and purposes, a very normal guy, normal based on my definition of normal, with his son. Beautiful pic. And then I guess he struggled with his gender identity, which, for the listeners, I have to clarify this, and we got to deal with the psychology of it. There's a difference between gender identity and gender sexuality. Gender identity is essentially, I'm giving you the short form, is a conflict of who you are externally and who you are internally. Gender sexuality is based on who you're actually attracted to. So in theory, you can feel like a woman but not be attracted to men. Now, in saying that, they do have, this is about to get really confusing, a name for people who transition to the opposite sex but are attracted to the same original sex.
This is like the 31 flavors of genderism, transgenderism, sexism,
Bill, you have
isms.
You have no idea how
goodness.
This can get this. As I was reading, it just gets more and more complicated. I wanted to read one of the questions to clarify something and read the answer.
Can't we all just get along?
Yeah, sure. The question was, according to the DSM, published by the American Psychiatric Association, it no longer lists gender identity disorder as a diagnosis, but instead refers to the gender dysphoria. Why and how did this come about, and what is the difference between the two terms? And this is the answer. Gender dysphoria is a term that reflects more accurately than gender identity disorder when an individual is distressed about a conflict between their sex assigned at birth and their gender identity or the role. Gender identity disorder suggests that their gender identity is disordered, yet having any gender identity, including transgender identity, is not a disorder. However, having gender identity, including transgender identity, because it's not a disorder, you have to pay attention to the distresses. If it distresses the person, they may experience at some point in their lives a clinical concern, and it can be alleviated through clinical management. The change in the DSM from gender identity disorder to gender dysphoria was a way to say that word.
Depathologize.
Having a gender identity that differs from one sex assigned at birth and recognize the concern and clinical care that transgender individuals may need to achieve comfort with their gender identity, their body, and gender role. I know there's a lot of back and forth in terms of terminology, but you understand the basis of what they're saying, right?
Not really, but hey.
Long story
31 flavors, and everyone gets to choose one.
Well, this is important because we can't talk about the species disorder until we understand psychology, what psychology has to say about why they stopped using gender disorder and now use gender dysphoria. It's not a disorder because they feel that being psychology feels that it's not a disorder to be transgender. The disorder is the feelings that you have inside. That's the disorder. Okay. So until the feelings are resolved, then the disorder persists. So when you're transgender and you have not transitioned and you're in constant distress,
so it's okay for me to disfigure and change and morph on the outside as long as internally I'm coping with all these changes.
As long as you're okay with those changes, then you know you do not have mental illness, it's okay. Now, if you are a man and you feel like a woman and you're walking around as a man, well, so psychology now has to deal with your mind state, not with your actual physical self.
I thought that's what psychology was supposed to be.
What psychology, you know this, and this for our listeners, psychology, the science is not exact, but all of psychology,
it's all theory.
Well, it's only healthy based on the bigger society. If the bigger society says this is unacceptable, then psychology says it's unacceptable. If bigger society says it is acceptable, then psychology says acceptable. And we know that based on other cultures. For example, in our culture, it's wrong to marry a child. In another country, that's acceptable. It's a ritual practice. We might say, oh, that's pedophilia, but that's because it's not the culture you live in. So culture, meaning the people determine what's healthy, what's not healthy. Psychology, societal norms. So the only thing that says psychology has to do is deal with you, the person, and the conflict that's within yourself. And so when we're dealing with species disorder, so species disorder is for people who, for the same reasons as transgender people, they are people who feel like they should be animals. Long story short. And so the story that we're looking at is a guy. Was he felt like he was a dragon or a lizard?
He, quote, a lady dragon.
So to your answer, because Belle asked me a question before we started airing. She's like, so does he see himself as a female dragon or a female lizard?
Well, he had nails still, because you said he changed from a male to a female.
Well,
from a female, he was morphing into a lizard.
Right.
But when I was reading the article and looking at it, he considers himself to be a lady dragon.
I just thought the nails was a replication of talons. I didn't know that was supposed to be a female thing. I thought that's supposed to go with the whole,
Well, I mean, he's wearing lipstick as well.
Because again, we're talking about a man who transitioned who wanted to be a woman.
Is he still married?
I don't know. I imagine he can't be. But and not only, ladies and gentlemen,
He could be.
The things that he went through, just real quick, we're going to talk about what he and I'm going to post the link to his article in our subscription dang on, say that word. Subscription box. Subscription. He had horns placed on his forehead. Of course, he had tattoos that represent scales all over his skin. He had his nose removed. He had his ears removed. He had his eyeballs tattooed green or dyed green. I don't know. And that's that. whatever else he did, he did. He did
also, different implants and stuff for the forehead part.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he still has a penis. He didn't go through the reassignment surgery.
You don't know that?
No, it said in the article.
Oh, it said it?
Yeah, he didn't fully transition, but he considered himself to be a woman, so he dressed like a female and all that. And so he went from that to that. And so my natural question was, well, how does society deem this to be normal or healthy? How is this healthy? Just on a base, like I want to put my spiritual beliefs on this.
I see that actually same as these females that go from one plastic surgery to the next.
Absolutely.
To the next. And they're never content. Like the human Ken and the human Barbie.
Yes.
There's something inside that's never fulfilled.
Well, there are people.
I mean, and it's dangerous. Anything we do. I mean, speaking of Michael Jackson, we were just talking about him. Look how obsessed he was with his nose that it caved in.
Right.
He had surgery and procedure after procedure, and it caved in. Even against medical advice, he still wanted what he wanted, and he had the money to do it. He went ahead and did it.
That man was over there huffing just to go to sleep. He was taking that super anesthesia medicine, like that medicine that put you to sleep for surgery. He was taking that every night. So like he obviously didn't.
He was definitely disturbed. That's
right.
all I can think of,
right.
or in a lot of pain. I mean, the way when I see these people, they're in a lot of pain inside emotionally, and my heart goes out to them because obviously they feel trapped within themselves, that they feel maybe nobody else can relate to them.
Right.
Because I wonder if there's another lady dragon out there that maybe can relate to him. And
I'm sure. Well, there is.
Come to him and they find consolence, in getting to know each other or something. I don't know. So
you kind of jumped ahead of me because you started talking about more of the emotional part of what's going on. And so what I'm about to say, it will offend.
And I mean, we all have to cope with our own issues.
Yep.
In life, every single person goes through some sort of identity crisis.
Yep.
As far as like, who am I today? Am I a rock star today? Am I a superstar? Am I this? Am I that? It's a natural change that we all go through. The problem is when folks are not able to cope in a way that's not self-mutilating,
right,
or harming, and emotionally maybe you did mutilate the outside to bring some kind of closure to a situation, but then you get to a point where that's not enough and you keep doing it because you still feel that void and that hurt inside.
Well, this is your interpretation of what's going on. Who's to say that what you're saying, I'm not going against you. I'm just kind of providing a opposing argument. Who's to say, like, some might say you're projecting your views on what they're going through. What, again, if I genuinely feel like I am a man, but I am really a woman, why do I have to be in pain or emotional pain outside of that? What if I just identify with a woman and that's who I want to be, and it's my right to do such?
And that is true, but why wear a mask? And that's all I see. All of these things are masking a bigger problem that's within.
Right.
I know personally, I started getting into the whole piercing arena, and when I sat down years after and looked back, I realized every single time I had gotten a particular piercing, I was in a lot of pain. And that changing of me on the outside was to alleviate something I was feeling inside.
I really don't want to oppose you anymore because I agree with you, obviously. I agree with your argument. I believe that these people are hurt. And, well, I mean, so again, jump back to psychology.
I mean, some stuff, I'm not going to say that some stuff is just like, dude, you're sick in the head or whatever. I just think they're just dealing with something and they don't know how to cope. Because it's, okay, you're a lady dragon. Okay. But is that going to stop?
Right.
Once you've gotten all the things
and the fantasy that you're
done and have, recreated that living fantasy that you've desired.
Yeah.
But like with the male Ken and the female Barbie, it doesn't stop.
Right.
So when is enough, you know?
And it doesn't help that they are getting a lot of attention for what they're doing to themselves. People want to tune in to see how far they're willing to go.
Did he cut his tongue yet?
The guy, splitting his tongue? Yeah. I don't know. I didn't see that. I've seen some people do that before.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do it before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But so my feelings are a little more, before we talk more about the emotional part, I'm a little more strict in my interpretation of that inner pain. When I see people with a lot of tattoos, that's what I see, a lot of brokenness on the inside. When I see people do stuff to their earlobes or to their nose, if it's not a cultural situation, most of the time I feel like these are the people who enjoy rebelling against society and so-called being individuals and living by their own terms. And I wonder often, what put you in that position that you want to be in opposition like that? Why are you so sick of being a part of quote-unquote society?
And I personally, personal desire.
Okay.
I definitely see that as a big factor, but I think that when you see a level of great extreme when folks are doing certain things, because I would say cutting off your nose, cutting off your ears is pretty extreme.
That's definitely extreme.
It's not that he just tatted himself all over with scales.
Right.
It's not just that he added horns and that's it. He's going through very extreme transformations
to be everything that he envisions, what he sees in mind. And there's plenty of jokes to be had of one can create and somebody like that. But it's not funny to me, because I still see this, no matter what this person is portraying to me on the outside, I still see this person as a human being. And because this person is a human being, it's the same thing with the cats, before I finish that thought, that fall into relationships with their dolls, men who are married to their sex dolls and stuff like that. Well, you probably don't know. I've seen the episode. It was a black dude in particular, and this was years ago. I wish I remember the name of this documentary. I forgot the name he called the sex doll, but he literally dresses it every day, does its makeup, sits it at the table when it's time for him to eat. And so at the end of the little 15-minute segment, they asked him, well, why does he do it? He said, well, I've been rejected so much by natural women, or they call them organic women. He said, I've been rejected so much by organic women that I got tired of it, so that he created his own little world. He created his own little bubble where it was safe, and he invested all those emotions and passions that he had into this inanimate object, because that inanimate object can be everything that he desired. You know what I mean? And so I feel like people that alter themselves in a way,
it's the real thing, and then it's like, oh, what was I doing?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if folks can come. They can come back from that. But when you're so invested in that fantasy, you don't want nothing else, because you're invested. Like, I've created this world. This world is very safe. If we look outside of like the weirdness of things that we do, because there are people that
I don't find none of that stuff weird. I do
feel like it's weird.
I think it's just people coping, and
I do believe
it's
that
not your everyday norm,
right?
But I don't see it weird. I just see a person coping. I mean, I've seen some different things, but I just see it as coping. I
see both, but I definitely, I'm not. For me, it's not a sugarcoat. It's definitely weird. It's weird in terms of it's out of the ordinary.
See, I'd be that one to be like, "Ooh, cool! What are you doing today?" You know. Yeah, but I guess just because I see people as human, like in and out, doesn't matter. We all have our issues. Some come in front of us, some you can't see. Let's back off from the extreme example of this guy who believes he's a lizard, and go back to your example. You use Ken and Barbie. I'm gonna use a little example that's probably more relevant for the African American community. Little Kim, and we saw what Little Kim has done to her body from where she was in the beginning, born, and where she's at now. Vivica Fox, what she's done to herself from the beginning to where she is now. You don't know this person. Her name is Tamala Jones, who she was a very pretty girl, and I know of her because she's from Pasadena. She's out of Pasadena. She went to Blair High School. From where she was, she's the girl that was in Next Friday. That was Day Day's crazy ex-girlfriend that was pregnant. You don't remember the movie? Not right now, no.
Oh, okay. Well, either way. So
thinking about lizards.
Anyway, yeah. So she was a naturally pretty girl, and then recently I've seen a picture of her face, and she got some nose surgery done, and she got her body done. And you know, actually a lot of black women now are subscribing themselves, we talked about this, to the, would you call it the Brazilian butt lift?
Yes.
To me it's the Kim Kardashian surgery. Mm-hmm. And they're getting their breasts done, and they all look like carbon copies of one another. And of course it's not, some people may not say, well, that's not comparable to wanting to be literally a lizard or opposite of your gender. But I look at it as you're not happy with yourself, so you're being something else. And so when a man had communicated to me once that he wished that he was a woman, and I laughed because I thought, you know, oh, that's silly, and I thought he was joking, but he wasn't joking. He really did want to be a woman. And so it was a little insensitive on my part, because laughing means that you're not taking that person seriously. I didn't realize that this was a real thing that people deal with it every single day. So now when I look back at it, and I see what that person was communicating to me, now I'm looking at what everybody's communicating, because communication is not just what you show on the outside, but it's also what you're doing. And so when I look at the totality of that, like I said, when I see people who are covered with tattoos from head to toe, I know that some of you all are very artistic, and you all live in that space, and you love the art and whatnot. But there are,
only that, you know, some folks are walking canvases for whatever they do. Look at beauticians, you know.
I get that.
How many times have you seen a beautician that you're not like, oh yeah, you're definitely artsy and into
it's part of your DNA.
To hair or whatever the situation is.
Yeah, and it's a way of branding yourself.
Yeah.
But I do believe there are extremes in everything, and so when I see that, I just go back to, what is it that you're trying to cover up? And so I think Bell introduced the biggest part, that there is emotional hurt that's unresolved. And so as humans, what we often do, and what the Bible in Proverbs articulated once, I'm paraphrasing, what seems right to a man leads to death or destruction. Sometimes it's not literal. Sometimes it's really the cognitive way that we process when we take on certain things. So for me, let me tell myself, when I was trying to deal with my hurt and my pain, I tried to cover it up with alcohol, and it worked. It worked for a year strong. I was doing well in my thinking. little did I know how much it affected the relationships and the people that were around me. Little did I know how much it affected my attitude with my friends and my family, and really with my own self, to the point where I drank so much alcohol that I passed out, and the ambulance had to come and pick me up. They didn't take me to the hospital, but they had to check my blood sugar. I didn't realize I drank so much because I didn't realize how much emotional pain I was in. I was hurt, and I didn't know how to cry out, and I didn't know. And that's another thing, when you don't know how to do something, how do you get help? How do you know if nobody confronts you? And that's where I want to get to. If nobody tells you, hey, yo, this is not right, this is not normal, there's something going on, how do you know to get help? And so when people say, well, let me live, don't judge me, you do you, I'm not affecting the way you live your lifestyle, you're right, you don't affect me. But because I care and I recognize it, because pain or broken people recognize what brokenness looks like. Hey, yo, let's talk. And talking is not going to get you through the majority of the stuff it is, but it does open that door. You know what I mean? So let me ask you this question, Bill. In your hardest moment, how did you get over? Because we don't have to know what your struggle was or is. How did you get over it? How did you address it? How did you initiate the process? I just threw a curve. I know I didn't prep you for that, but.
Well, back in college, it was the whole piercing scene for me.
Okay. One
pain took away another.
But did you deem that eventually unhealthy?
No. But when I got into confrontations and problems with my family over it, because I guess, I was getting to a point where it was gonna be too much. It causes you to start rethinking certain things, even if you disagree with them.
Right.
You start rethinking and looking at and evaluating at certain things. And then when you start desiring certain things, aside from where you're at within that moment, as far as emotionally,
right,
then you have to realize that you have to fine-tune to get to where you want to be. And no, you don't always have the motivation. No, you don't always have the means and tools. But if that's something really you desire, you're going to look into, well, how do I get to that point? And you start doing that. And for me, if I wanted to be in corporate America, I had to let go of the piercings. I had to let go of all the outrageous hair dyes. I had to let go a lot of that stuff that I was into at that time, because I wanted to be employable. And corporate America was not going to employ me the way I was.
So for me, you said, if I understand what you're communicating, the things that we are into, if we're into them so much that we have to start defending why we're into them and it's affecting relationships around us, then we need to at least evaluate why.
Well, that's what happened for me.
Right. But I agree with that.
I'm not going to say that that's going to happen for everybody, or everybody's going to see it the same way, but that's what happened for me. It did cause me to think and reevaluate. When your father doesn't speak to you for 2 weeks after you get a piercing or this or that, the third.
Is it worth holding on to?
Yeah, I had to question, well, is this piercing worth this conflict with my father?
Right.
So I had to face it. I had to deal with that. Also, certain attentions, certain piercings, I didn't like the attention that it brought. It was for me. I got them for personal reasons. No one went with me or pried me or told me, hey, do this. No. I got them for personal reasons, and I enjoyed them. But then when I started getting certain attention, like, because people notice, oh, you have this, you have that, ooh, I can see that through the shirt, or whatever the situation, I didn't like that. So that too bothered me to a point where I was like, it's not worth me having these piercings because I don't like this attention.
So I don't really want to build back on that. You expressed that point, and a very practical reason why you had to walk away from it. And I don't want us to sound asinine in terms of comparing piercings or drinking to transitioning from man to woman or from woman or man to species, but we're asking the listeners to look at the principle behind what we're saying, and that we're in agreement that, again, eternally there's something there. And even if you feel like eternally that you're okay, consider how your actions affect your community and the things that's around you. A lot of people who kill themselves think that, well, it's just me, I'm just taking my own life. And that's absolutely not true, because when you take your own life, you are absolutely affecting everyone that's around you. Even though you feel like you're in this by yourself and alone in the world, you don't, once you're dead, you don't know who you're affected. You don't know who's going to be saddened. You don't know anything other than your own. I'm saying this word not being accusatory, but when you take your own life, it's a selfish need to rid yourself of the pain that we are all trying to help you overcome. We don't have enough time to talk about the second part, but Dr. Stana had commented on the Facebook page concerning this article, and my Uncle Steve, he first said that as a society, when are we going to say this is a mental illness and stop accepting this type of behavior? Which to him, I agree. And then Tanya, shout out to Tanya Letty, she said that, well, I just want people to be who they are. It doesn't affect me, blah, blah, blah. And Dr. Stana, he commented, he kind of went left with it, but I saw what he was saying. He posted an article about, and essentially the principle is, if we do call that a mental illness, then why is it that from a legal standpoint, we still hold people who have a mental illness responsible for the deeds that they do or crimes that they commit? So in other words, there is a juxtaposition or
puts you in a position where you still have to function in society day in, day out, and we're going to give you medications so you can continue to be as functional as possible, but you don't get any privileges or any rights or anything with respects to that. So the onus now, instead of saying to the victim, fix yourself, I believe Dr. Stana was saying society recognize what we're dealing with and help them. And so now we've talked about the emotional pain of the individual. Now we got to put the responsibility back on us. And again, that's what I'm saying. When I see something, what society does is make you feel like an outcast. Is what they do, and they label you, and then you're boxed in.
And I think most people who fall into that lifestyle, they hate being labeled. And so now that was we was going to discuss. So they have people who call themselves demons, and they have pronouns. Teenagers, they have pronouns demon X, demon next with the A at the end to refer to themselves instead of he, she. That's what they got. They got people who associate as being light poles, and they got pronouns for that. It's XEIR and then XEIR something else. It gets, Bill, it's a rabbit hole like a mug.
So and so, it could be a bird or a tree.
You can be whatever you think you want to be, as long as you function normally in society. You maintain, you literally can call yourself that. Again, I'm not against that, but as a society, where do we stand, and when do we say, okay, enough is enough? I've heard people say now, from a political standpoint, the problem with being liberal is that there's no accountability, and to that I agree. And what that means is we're so free and willy-nilly, live your life, do what you want to, nobody should get involved with your business, that how far or where's the line that you draw to say, okay, but that's too far, you need to come back, there has to be some type of structure, you know what I mean? Like, that's the ultimate. But everybody knows the problem being a conservative. Problem being conservative is that the lines are so rigid that they refuse to come out of those individual boxes. Everything is within structure. I get that, but when it comes to being a liberal, you can't be so free and loosey goosey. That's an old term. That, you know what I'm saying, nobody's going to hold you to a standard, and I think that's the problem that's wrong. So where is the red line in conclusion?
I don't know, because I'd be loosey. I have no idea. My line has been drawn through. I always take my inspiration through Scripture, and Apostle Paul introduced a principle in the book of Romans where he said, "If what I do, of course I'm paraphrasing, if what I do offends my brother, that I won't practice for the sake, of course, of peace,
of unity and the furtherance of the gospel. And as a minister, which is who I am, I have to take particular cause. It's not my own personal choice to stop doing something against my own personal will, because I have free will. I can do whatever I want to do. However, if I call myself being an ambassador and representing something, then I have to give a little bit of my will in order for the betterment of the bigger cause. If what I do affects my family and my family is hurt, or my family is disappointed, or my family is angry, then I have to consider myself and consider my decisions for the sake of maintaining that unity. It's not about just me. I think when you make it about yourself and your own feelings, there's some selfishness there. Even if you're in the world by yourself, if you have no family, if you have no kids, if you have no mother and father, you're still part of society as a whole. There was something that you had said before we record, and this will be the conclusion. You talked about balance. In nature, homeostasis, I think, is the homeostasis or homostasis. Is it homeostasis? Homostasis.
Homostasis.
That, and as I understand it, it's the principle of balance. Nature's always looking for balance. It's always looking for a way to make everything even. There's nothing in life that operates out of balance. When it's out of balance, that's when you start coming up with diseases and things. Cancer, when you have too many cells that develop in one area, we call that cancer, and it starts affecting the body in a negative way. When your sugar goes up, your sugar affects all the, you know what I'm saying, all these things. You even told me about the plants. What about plants? About the male and female plant?
As far as pollinating, that, I mean, like an apple tree will produce blossoms all day long, but they will never produce fruit unless they have a male tree to pollinate it. That's how they call it in the horticultural area. And you need both of those to bring that balance of producing, to be able to produce that fruit.
So if we see our fellow brothers and sisters, to bring it full circle, that are rebelling against mainstream society, or identifying themselves against what traditionally they are not, they may not have the balance within themselves. So as a society, we have to be that balance. And it doesn't mean to be a finger pointer. It doesn't mean to be an accuser. It means, to me, the way we provide balance, now I'm talking from the Christian realm, we have to introduce the love with the structure. And so I'm going to hold your hand. I'm not, if you're not saved or you're not a Christian, I'm not going to condemn you, and I'm not going to point my fingers. I'm just going to hold your hand, and I'm going to walk with you as you walk in your own life. And I'm going to live my life the way I'm going to live my life. Just as an example, I'm not going to tell you need to change yet. You have to introduce that. It's just like psychology. You can't go to a therapist and think that the therapist is going to diagnose you and help you if you don't want to be helped. If you don't want to be helped, you'll just be sitting in that chair, and the therapist was just going to look right back at you. You have to come to the table saying, hey, this is my issue, or this is what I think. Jesus didn't stop me from drinking alcohol or smoking weed. He didn't stop me from wanting and desiring different women. I had to have within me a desire to stop. And once I had that desire to stop, then the means of me to stop began to be introduced. And now I was like, okay, I get it now. I get it. So for the people that are upset about the way that they look, or distressed about, the conflict that's within them, I don't have a ready-made solution for that. But we are more than willing to hold your hand through this process and make sure that we're going to love on you until you finally realize whatever your true identity is on the inside. It will be, I personally would want you to find your identity in God. And I believe it's within God you'll find your identity in who you are. It helped me, and I believe it's my conviction that it'll help you also. I have nothing else. Belle.
Hearts and minds clear. He took it to the church.
So that was the redeeming factor. That was my redeeming factor for the episode. And again, I know that many of you all are going to disagree with that point. I'm okay with that. That's fine. It's not going to work for you. Everybody's not going to be saved, and everybody's not going to believe in what I believe in, but it's not going to stop me or Belle from loving you, and hopefully it won't stop you from loving us. It's just who we are. If you can't tell, Belle is a rebel herself. A rebel with a cause. We appreciate you. We love you. We got one more musical section coming up, but before we break, again, we just want to remind you all to subscribe to our YouTube channel by typing in 30 Parkwood in the search bar or Hawk&bel Podcast. Also, we won't have Belle on a podcast next week. She's taking a little time for herself, so instead we're going to have an interview. I don't know yet. What I'm doing, I'm speaking in faith. I don't know who's going to be here, but usually what I like to do is just find somebody who has a particular story, testimony, or maybe an occupation that I find to be interesting, and just let the person talk about their truth. We love you, appreciate you. Peace.
Anything you believe you can reach if you choose to. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, you better believe it. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, get that understood. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, you better believe it. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, get that understood. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, you better believe it. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, get that understood. I'ma be happy, I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, I'ma be happy, get that understood. Get that understood. I'ma be alright, I'ma be okay. Any minute I'ma be stacking chips so high, so Pringle free, so lazy. We don't need no architect for our marketing. I could be all up on Wall Street with Parker Monopoly, making some know if your spot is left vacant, it's gotta be taken. Anyway, boo, since we done with that prelude, let me put you up on some philosophy. Professor Hayduk would not even say to you. I like how that smile that you make is creating the world that's around you ain't great to you. Did you know that? Girl, your hair's so long that you grow that. Put it back, that back, baby, throw that. Once I put some ice on your hand like I broke that. Hold that. That's the whole word in your hands, grow that. That's the same word that you made in your head when you laid in your bed waiting for me to wrote that. I mean, write this, I can you are a creator, you is. Yell out your blessings and wait on your gifts. Stardust will harbor the carbon you give. So I'ma be happy cause I'ma still live. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, you better believe it. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, get that understood. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, you better believe it. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, get that understood. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, you better believe it. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, get that understood. I'ma be happy, I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, I'ma be happy, get that understood. Get that understood. My heart's been torn into pieces, my pride's been crushed and ego's been diminished. My life's been tossed to the floor, to the ceiling, up and down like I live on a coaster, but still I say love keeps lifting me higher and higher. So with every hit I take, I get stronger. I can go a little bit longer, make room for the infinite incident. Bounce it back, a hash attack. You better know who you dealing with. Feeling as if I was meant for this, finish this, sure I will. Quit killing this, sure I won't. I got 4 sisters, 1 brother, 1 dad, 1 mother, whole family to feed. This, must I blow? Must I go hard on stage and walk like God? Cause good Lord knows that I ain't get to walk on graduation day. So every stage I grace, I walk like I ain't never walked before. And I speak like I done talked to God before. And I think like I done been let down before. But I smile like he done turned it around before. Like I ain't never had to frown before, and you know that. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, you better believe it. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, get that understood. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, you better believe it. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, get that understood. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, you better believe it. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, get that understood. I'ma be happy, I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, I'ma be happy, get that understood. Get that understood. Speak into the atmosphere. 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 I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, you better believe it. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, yeah, get that understood. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, you better believe it. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, get that understood. I'ma be happy, I'ma be good, I'ma be good. to the mountain. Hello to the sea. Hello to the valley. And part the tree. Hello to the mountain. Hello to the sea. Hello to the valleys. He came for me. Luxury, 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 the luxury, the luxury to praise God, the Most High, through all seasons, when the tide's high, and the valley's low, or the river's dry. Praise God. Praise God, there's liberation in every season. There's much freedom, all freedom. Praise God, praise God, praise God. Hello to the mountains, hello to the sea, hello to the valleys, impart the tree. Hello to the mountain, hello to the sea, hello to the valley. Yes, he came for me. Luxury, 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 the luxury, the luxuries. To praise God through all seasons, for all reasons. It's liberation. Here's your freedom. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Yeah, I praise the name. And I know He changed the trajectory of my entire being. And everything I'm seeing, I see His grace. I'm clothed in it. Yeah, I'm rolled in it. Woo! Bless your name. Luxury, luxury, the luxuries. Praise His name. Praise His name. Praise God. The liberation. Through all seasons, here's your freedom, here's your freedom, here's your freedom, here's your freedom. Praise God, praise God. Through all seasons, for all reasons, it's liberation. Here's your freedom to praise God, to praise God. The luxury, the luxuries, the luxury. To praise God while you're still breathing. I said, here's your freedom. I said, here's your freedom. I said,